Before I get started with this movie review, I want you to pause the video, go to the comment section, and type in hashtag Wakanda Forever. Okay, now that you've typed in hashtag Wakanda Forever, now we can resume and get into this movie review. Here it goes. Hey, what's up? And you're tuned in to Neek at Night. Today I have a special guest with me, Mr.
Young Train, your boy.
Young Train?
Yeah.
All right, for sure. Okay, so today we're going to be going over the Black Panther movie and giving our movie review. I'm going to try to do this without any spoilers, but yeah, I'm gonna do it without any spoilers. If we accidentally say anything, I'm just going to edit it out, so don't even worry about it. But let's talk about Black Panther. So before I dig into the critique of Black Panther, I just want to first give a big up to the director because I think it's so amazing where he came from and where he is now. So this is a couple stats that I came across. It basically says Ryan Coogler, which is a black director. It was some rumors that, they're not going to get this right because the director is white. Actually, the director is black, and he is my age and your age. He's 31 years old. So Ryan Coogler is 31 years old, and he is from Oakland, California. So if you notice watching Black Panther, it starts... Well, is that kind of giving it away?
I mean, not really, but, he bases a lot of his stuff in Oakland. He did Fruitvale because that was a true story about that kid in Oakland who got killed by the police. So, he in Black Panther, there's a little scene, it's clearly they're in Oakland, but, I mean, it's not a spoiler. It doesn't really... It's not going to play.
I don't want to give any spoilers.
It's got some symbolism, but it's not...
So, basically, the movie starts out in Oakland. Kind of.
I mean, yeah, there's a scene. There's
Well, one of the beginning scenes. So it doesn't start out in Oakland, but one of the beginning scenes originates in Oakland.
Right.
And the director is Ryan Coogler, who is from Oakland. And I think that's extremely dope and extremely, it's important to rep where he's repping where he's from in the movie.
Yeah, because it could have been any other place. They could have had that scene
they could have started
place.
it anywhere.
Yeah,
so I think it's pretty dope that he kind of puts his stamp on where he's from. So one of the most popular, not most popular, but his origin is Fruitvale Station. And Fruitvale Station had a $900,000 budget. And from that $900,000 budget, he flipped it and made $16 million off of that movie.
It's crazy.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Cool. So then his next movie and his next biggest movie was Creed. And from Creed, he also put Michael B. Jordan in the movie.
Which, like you said about Black Panther, a lot of people thought the director was white, thought it was going to work. When he did Creed, a lot of the diehard Rocky fans, they was worried oh man, they about to ruin this. They don't have, somebody's about to try and keep the Rocky thing going with Creed, Apollo Creed's son. And Creed was dope. It's about to be another one. I mean,
yeah,
so he's killing.
Pretty dope. Okay, so he started with Fruitvale Station where his budget was $900,000. He jumped over to Creed where his budget was $40 million,
right.
And then the Marvel franchise trusted him with a $200 million budget to make this film alive and bring it to fruition. So in his 4-day opening weekend, the film made a total of $404 million, and that's only in one weekend.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So they already doubled.
Yeah.
And made their money back.
Yeah, they were breaking all kind of records.
Yeah.
It was crazy, the box office numbers and stuff. And they gave him that $200 million budget because this is Marvel. This ain't no game. This is
you have to have animations. You have to have special
this
effects.
movie's got to be dope. I mean,
fight scenes. You have to have costume, wardrobe. Everything has to be on point, and it's based on technology and all this.
Which
cool stuff.
I feel like they did a great job. The scenery was dope. I mean, it has everything every other Marvel movie has. Special effects was dope.
I'm gonna speak from my standpoint. I'm not a Marvel fan.
Okay.
I don't watch Thor. I don't even think I've ever seen Thor. You were talking to me we went to see the movie together. I seen the movie 2 times. He's seen it once. I seen it the second time with him. And he was talking to me about Justice League, Thor, and all these other things. And I'm not a Marvel fan, so I've never seen Justice League. I've never seen Thor, so I don't know how to
Justice
compare
League is DC, but still, superhero movie.
I don't know how to compare it in that regard because I'm not a Marvel fan. He is.
Right.
So we kind of have two different aspects because he's picking it apart based on his love for Marvel,
Right.
and I'm looking at it at a standpoint of my love for just movies in general. And my normal kind of like my favorite type of movie genre is thriller.
Okay.
So I like movies where I have to like guess what they are. I have to guess like what's going to happen next. I like to be engaged. I like to be, like action movies aren't really my thrill.
Right. Okay.
So with that being said, I think that they did an amazing job, and I'm going to talk about the positives.
I'm looking at it a little different lens, you know.
Yeah.
Same lens you got too, but also a little different lens, a little superhero lens. So.
But before I dissect into anything negative, I want to definitely go over the positives. And I just want to say I really love the fact that, it's not all the time that you get to see these movies where, young black girls now have their own like superhero that they can identify with.
Right.
A lot of times when you go to the movies and little black girls go to the movie theaters, they see these movies, the main actual lead person is normally an ethnically ambiguous woman who kind of really probably doesn't look like the masses.
Right.
They look mixed, almost white.
Right.
When they go to these movies, they see people like Paula Patton, she's black, but she can pass.
Right.
She can pass for black or Hispanic or something else.
Right.
Now, little black girls can look on the TV screen and they can see women who they can more or less identify with. And they're not to say that there aren't ethnically ambiguous children, because obviously they grow up and be adults, and there are women like that, but they are always represented all the time in all the movies, and that's what we see. I think it's dope now that they have a movie that kind of identifies with the darker skin tone girls of the world, the black little girls, and and they have their action hero. I think it was extremely amazing that on Black Panther's side, their warriors were women. They're ready for battle, they're ready for combat, and they are sticking it to the men. I thought that was very dope to represent women in that light and to shed light that, women are equally as strong, as combative, and we're warriors in our own right. And, I felt like that was amazing for women to be shown in that light. So when I seen the first fight scene, and then one guy called out his people and it was the guys, and then T'Challa, Black Panther, he called out his, defense warriors, and they were all women. I was like, yes, I felt like that was dope. That was extremely, extremely dope, and I really like that.
Yep. It also showed his sister, who was the mastermind behind all the technology, just showed how smart she was. In other Marvel movies, they always got the scientists. He's always like an old white guy who knows all the. And this time it was a young black female who knew all the computer work, knew how to do all. So that was dope. I like how they did that. I see what you're saying on that.
Yeah. So those are some of my positives. What were some of your positives in the movie? Some of the things that you looked at and you were like, this is dope. Before we dive into anything negative.
Everything you said I agree with. Like the symbolism was there. Like they showed the little Oakland scene. I don't want to give too much away, but just showing how young black people, kids, how they're affected by, their parents. That part was in there. I seen the symbolism there. Scenery was good. The visual effects, everything was dope. It was well written, really good storyline. All the characters. It was a good movie. Like it had a lot. You're not going to be disappointed. It stands up with the rest of them. The rest of the Marvel movies, that is.
I think what people were most excited about and what had it excelling for other people's point of view was the fact that we don't ever have this type of representation.
And I understand that.
So we've kind of had some black representation in other movies. Growing up, Meteor Man was one of my favorite movies. And I'm not going to neglect the fact that, this was all the craze and all the rave when I was a kid. I had a black superhero before. So seeing Black Panther, it wasn't my first time seeing an all black casted superhero movie, but I do like what it represents in this generation and what it means to the kids growing up in this generation. And it feels refreshing to see this all black superhero representation again. And this time it shows the roots all the way back to Africa, which makes it all the more meaningful. Also, growing up, I had superheroes like Blank Man, I had Meteor Man, I had Blade, where Wesley Snipes was the badass Marvel superhero vampire slayer. So, I mean, Blade wasn't an all-black cast, but Wesley Snipes definitely was a staple back in that time when I was growing up. But in this generation, it definitely means a lot to see this again and all the black excellence coming forward on the movie screen yet again. Leaving the movie, it left you with a hunger for more, like what's going to happen next, who's going to be in it next. Those are the things that I was thinking about. So with doing movie reviews and movie reactions, I am a human and I am not a robot. So when I'm watching something, I don't think like everybody. I think like myself. And when I watched the movies, there was certain scenes that I didn't like. And in this next part of the video, this is not to discredit or devalue the level of awesomeness in Black Panther in any way. I think the movie is dope. I think it's monumental. I think it's a great representation. And I love, love, love all the black excellence and the fact that our little girls finally have a superhero that represents them, you know, and somebody that they can relate to. But in this next part of the video, I'm going to give the things about the movie that I didn't like. And like I said, that does not take away from the awesomeness of the movie in any way, shape, or form. So if you do not want to hear a disagreement and a difference of opinion other than your own, stop the video right here and carry on to the next one. But now I'm going to move into parts that I didn't necessarily like. And here it goes. Okay, so what were the things that you didn't like about the movie?
Okay, so I'm going to take it back to Avengers Civil War. This is when you first see Black Panther in the movie. He has a little role. He comes in. You know, you see Black Panther in Civil War. If you haven't seen Civil War, watch that. You'll see Black Panther in the movie. And like, okay. So when I seen him in that movie, I already knew, okay, they're going to make a Black Panther movie. So I already knew this was coming. So, which I knew was going to be good. Every Marvel movie is good. So I think what happened to me is once the movie was getting hyped about, dang, it's grossing, look how much it's the box office. Like, once it started doing that, it was like just all the records, shattering records. Now I'm like, okay, well.
Your expectations when you watched the actual movie was like, this is going to be the end all be all.
And I didn't watch the movie till it came out on Friday. When we see it, like.
We seen it on Sunday.
On Sunday, so.
Yeah.
I mean, all this build up. I see Charlemagne boosting it. Charlemagne's a big superhero guy too. And, you know, I listen, he's smart on his movies too, even though he said Justice League was whack. I just saw Justice League. It was pretty good, so I don't know about that. But, so, anyway, the hype was there. I'm like, dang. So, I mean, I knew it was going to be good. It's a Marvel movie. It's going to be good. It's got that director, like, he's going to make it good. Saw the movie. Good movie, like I said, but just.
I wasn't totally, like, in love with the fighting scenes. Like, I'm not an action person. I think the main character's name is Chadwick, the guy who played Black Panther.
Yeah.
It was such a big parallel. Like, he was scrawny and little, and then Michael B. Jordan was like swole and souped up, and
he been on that protein.
He's been on that like whatever protein, big muscle diet, and I'm used to Michael B. Jordan being like the small, scrawny guy. So the correlation between the Black Panther, the it guy, and the it Dundada, like, this is my kingdom, I am king, I rule. It should have been bigger. I feel like he should have been like a little more swole. Yeah. So when I was watching the fighting scenes, and mind you, in real life, the bigger guy isn't always the stronger guy, because there are people who are it'll be like, I seen a fight video and it was like this midget, and they was fighting this bigger, like, average sized person, and they like fucked him up. Yeah. So I say that to say, I know in real life, the bigger person isn't always the stronger person. But for this film, if the main guy was a little bit more yoked up and a little bit more evenly matched, I feel like it would have been a little bit better for me when I was watching these fight scenes. Because, like, when people are challenging him and they're like, oh, I'm going to challenge you, and and then he's like scrawny and they're like souped up. It's kind of like.
See, and I'm with you with this. I actually agree with you in a little different way. So coming from me all into superheroes and Marvel, all this and that, the fighting scenes, like, I wasn't really sure, like, what's his power? Like Thor got the hammer. So we watch Thor, he's got the hammer, and he can throw it for miles and miles, and the hammer will come back to him. Iron Man can shoot out his hands, and Captain America got the shield. I mean, it's like, I didn't really know, like, okay, he's got like Panther like reflexes, and he's like quick and stuff, but like, I didn't really know.
That's his superpower.
Like, what else did he do? Like, he got gadgets, but like, I didn't really know. So when he was fighting, it was just kind of like two niggas just catching the head up. They just both got like
they both got
that's how it really was. But
they both could fight good.
But it was cool. I mean, but yeah, that part in the fighting scene, I guess they just need to amp up what he could do, or show whatever other powers he got. They didn't really reveal all of them, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
Like, I mean, and it's kind of standard. Like, all the superheroes, yeah, they got the strength in their suit. You can't really hurt them, and they could jump high, and they could. You know,
but
so
it's always like a signature.
Some signature. He didn't have that to me. He didn't have, like, he wasn't like real stealthy. Like, he wasn't creeping up like out of, I don't know. Yeah, so that part, they could, I don't know, soup him up a little bit. Like, give him some type of
power.
Maybe he do. I haven't read the Black Panther comics, you know, but I don't know. I wonder if white people felt uncomfortable going to watch Black Panther.
Are we uncomfortable watching their movie?
Right. No. So
I don't think they should have been uncomfortable.
But yeah, it was good. It's a good step forward, you know, for us, because like, you see, this is not just happening in movies. Like, I play video games too a lot, and I play Call of Duty. I know a lot of people know what that is. And now that, before when you played, there was no black characters. Like, if you wanted to play online, you had to be a white dude. But now on this one, you could be a black person, you could be a woman. You know what I'm saying? They're doing the woman empowerment shown in this. That's why all of the soldiers are women in this movie. One of the main ones is a woman, the strongest one. You'll see. Not trying to give it away, but yeah. So like I said, there's a lot of good symbolism in this movie. The movie had a lot of good stuff to take away from it.
That is our Black Panther review. If you have not seen the movie, I definitely recommend you see it. It's definitely worth the watch.
Sure.
For me, it wasn't a 10 all across the board. There were some missing elements, and it was like, something in there was kind of like missing, but it was definitely good to watch and definitely see us represented. And I definitely thought it was dope, like you said, to see a tech person be this young youthful girl, and she's like controlling the tech world.
Yep.
And a lot of times when we see this movie, it's like an older geeky
professor type dude,
nerdy professor guy. And like, to be honest, social media, all of this internet craze is leading the wave with younger generations. So it definitely was cool to see a younger generation leading the tech in this film. I thought that was phenomenal. I think we have room for improvement, and I think for the next movie, that is definitely room to grow and be better.
Anyway, Marvel viewers, it's a good movie. It holds up. So you ain't gotta worry. I mean, it's gonna hold up. So I'm proud of my dude, man, Ryan, man. You know, like I said, holla at me.
You want to be in the next movie?
You can put me in. I could be, you know, I can get on the protein regimen. I could be a villain, whatever you need. You know what I'm saying? I could, whatever.
And it was a cool movie. And outside of the small negatives, there are a lot of positives about this movie. Like he said, there is a lot of symbolism, and there's a lot of correlations to, you know, how you grow up and how it affects you if you have a father, if you have a mother, and how, you know, it drives you on this path, and how you end up.
Yeah.
And I think it's definitely worth the watch.
For sure.
It's definitely worth the watch.
Definitely worth going to theaters.
So definitely go and check it out if you haven't seen it already, you know? And so that's all for this video. Stay tuned for more celebrity news and gossip. If you want to see me do more movie reviews and you kind of like the insight on this review, definitely leave a comment below. And, you know, that will definitely encourage me to do more of these style videos. So if you like this review, if you know, definitely share it. Like my channel, subscribe to my channel, and comment below and let me know what you thought about Black Panther, what you liked, what you didn't like, and let's have an open discussion in the comments. That's all for this video. Now that this review is over, if you didn't type in hashtag Wakanda Forever in the beginning, go to my comment section right now and type in hashtag Wakanda Forever. Do it now. All right, peace. For real this time.